Be sure to look at the camera. Good afternoon. Welcome to Trail Talk. It's really great to be with you guys. We missed a week last week. I feel like we've been so hit and miss this summer. It's been kind of weird, but it's been nice to have a little bit of a break. But we're really glad you could join us today. This is Shaeleigh McGee. Shaeleigh is a summer intern. Is that what we
Yes.
She's a summer intern here at the Heritage Center, and we are so privileged here because we have the opportunity to meet a lot of great young people through the Chickasaw Nation, and that is through how your employment with us
Their
came to be.
Shaeleigh Smart program.
Their what's it called?
Shaeleigh Smart.
Shaeleigh Smart program, and it's wonderful because I'm serious. We have met so many great young people during the summer. But Shaeleigh has something she would like to say, so I'm going to turn it over to her to kick us
All right. Halito, Oklachimachokmacho, so Hoshakoya, Shaeleigh McGee, Abichikalesia, Chata Mija Chikashasia, Duncan, Oklahoma, and Mitali, Yakoki. So what I just said was, hello, how is everyone? My name is Shaeleigh McGee. I am Choctaw and Chickasaw. I'm 19 years old and I'm from Duncan, Oklahoma. Thank you. I'm by no means fluent, but I'm trying my best to preserve the culture and learn my language every single day. So I hope y'all enjoyed that.
I love that so much. When I've read a few books lately that have been about the Choctaw people or about the Chickasaw people, and they have included many of the native words from the language in those stories. And so it was kind of fun hearing you say some of those words because I recognize some of them. Yes. So well done, Shaeleigh. Thank you for sharing that with us. So Shaeleigh is not just representing the Shaeleigh
Smart
Shaeleigh Smart program. I did get that right. But she's a fascinating young woman, and I really wanted to have her on because I think she is inspiring and she is motivated and she's smart, and she's just someone I really have enjoyed getting to know this summer. And I think that you, the viewers, will really enjoy hearing about her and some of the things that she has, I'm going to say, dedicated her life to. But first of all, we're going to get to know her, just a little background. So Shaeleigh, you said you were from Duncan.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you always lived in Duncan?
I was born in Lawton and I lived there the first 9 years of my life.
Okay.
And then around 9 or 10, my mom was like, we're gonna move to Duncan, a little smaller, a little safer than Lawton, you know, better schools. And so we came here and I finished high school here, graduated here, went to Vo-Tech here, and then I went off to Oklahoma State.
Okay, so she's an Oklahoma State Cowboy. I do not let that in any way interfere with our friendship because I am not an Oklahoma State fan per se, but I do love a lot of people who go to school there. And our friend Emery, who's behind the camera a lot, Bailey. Well, actually, I'm surrounded by Oklahoma State, either alumni or soon to be attendees. So anyway, so why did you pick Oklahoma State for college?
I really loved the atmosphere of the campus. To me, it was just kind of, you know, relaxed. There's like everyone there is very friendly, very kind. And then I also heard that, you know, they had the OSU Center for Sovereign Nations, which is a Native American Resource Center, which I currently am working at also.
Oh, okay.
And I heard, okay, well, they have all these opportunities there. And, you know, originally I was going for microbiology. And so, you know, I was like, they have one of the best biology programs in the state, you know, they're known for that kind of thing. And, you know, the tuition was really good. I got some scholarships. And so it really just all worked out to have, like, I don't know, all the cards are in my favor.
That's, you know what, that's why there are so many different universities. There's a place for everyone to
Yes.
really feel like you belong. And like, this is going to be my home for the next however many years.
Yes.
So, so when you went to the Vo-Tech, were you in the biomed
Yes.
program?
I was in
Okay.
biomed.
Okay. But after a year or so of college, Or how long before you changed your major?
Well, I'm trying to think. It hasn't even been that long. I've only been a college student for a year now.
Right,
I just graduated in 2022 and started in the fall of 2022. And I'm currently a junior now.
okay.
So I did a lot of concurrent in high school, and probably after the first semester, I was like, this isn't feeling right. My heart's not in it anymore. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I was panicking because my whole life, like pretty much by the age of like 12, 13, I was like, I kind of know what I want to do. I want to go into medicine. I've even went to EMT school because I was so
Oh,
dedicated
right.
to medicine and I wanted to help people. And that's where my heart is in people.
Mhm.
But I didn't know like that was going to change. And so, I just started feeling miserable and I was like, I hate what I'm doing. And I never felt that before. And so I was terrified because I'm like, my whole life, I thought I had a plan, I had an idea. And then it's like life threw this ginormous curveball at me. And then it's like, oh, okay, I don't know what to do. And so as soon as I got done, I suffered through chemistry. That
Ugh.
was the worst class I've ever taken.
If you're not into it, that would be very
And
difficult.
I also took my like intro to microbiology lab and I enjoyed it a lot, but I was like so just miserable. But at the time, I just started earning my minor in American Indian Studies. And I was like, I am obsessed. I love this.
Mhm.
And then in my free time, I'm researching cases and like I watch the ID channel all the time. I love true crime.
Mhm.
It's been something I've always, just enjoyed. And I like reading the decisions on cases, why they chose that decision, especially anything that goes up to the Supreme Court involving tribal law, which is where I'm wanting to specialize, later on. But so yeah, I made a change and I decided to switch to sociology with the concentration in criminology and criminal justice. And I'm still earning my minor in American Studies.
Very good. And so have you had a chance to take any of those classes along that course line now?
I took intro to sociology
Mhm.
and that's basically the gist of it. So I just finished all my gen eds except for like statistics, but I'm gonna push that back as long as possible. And I'm gonna take, I think, racial and ethnic relations. So I think as a Native American person, that's gonna be really interesting,
Mhm.
to see how it is. And I'm basically getting into all the nitty-gritty stuff now, that I've finished most of my like basics. And I'm also going to take Native American religions, and I'm excited about that because I get to learn about all the main ones. So
That sounds very interesting. And I sense your passion. I want to encourage you though. I think it's very common for students to change their major.
yes,
And I mean, I think that you're okay. There's, you'll be fine. You will be fine.
that's what everyone's been telling
Oh,
me.
yeah. I mean, how can you possibly know for sure when you're 18 years old?
Right.
How can you know for sure what you're going to do with the rest of your life? So you have plenty of time, but I feel like you are on a track that you are really very interested in, and it's very exciting. So growing up, was there a lot of focus in your home on your Native American culture?
Partially. So my parents divorced when I was about 3 years old. And so I get my Native American heritage from my dad's side. So he's half, so he's a quarter Chickasaw, quarter Choctaw, Mississippi Choctaw. And my grandpa speaks Choctaw and Chickasaw, full-blooded. So very rare to have that, in today's world. And so I've always, been around my dad, been around my grandpa, but I never lived with my dad growing up. I always had been with my mom, and she never was like discouraging about learning my culture, but I think she just didn't know like what exactly to do because that's not how she grew up. And it's not that she doesn't want to understand, she is so supportive, and I'm so thankful that she wants me to do all these things. And it's funny because she was even telling me, you need to go into tribal law, and I was fighting her so hard on that. I was fighting her so hard because I didn't know what to do. And
Right.
but it's funny because they're like, well, your mother's always right. And she was, she definitely was.
If any of my children are watching, you heard it right here. And I was not the one saying it. I'm just, reminding you guys.
But so yeah, she's been very supportive, and she's always wanted me to learn. I think she just didn't know how to approach it because that's not her culture, that's not her heritage. And my dad, of course he wanted to. It's just, he also kind of grew up the same way I did, you know, with his mom, and he also gets that lineage from his dad. So, you know, that's kind of hard to pass down, you know, when you don't live with that parent and he doesn't speak the language. He knows words and phrases here and there, but you know, he doesn't know the language. And so my dad would take me to powwows, and you know, he'd teach me things and explain, like, I'm sure some people know, like, Native Americans have long hair. That's a fact, or most of them do.
Right.
And that's because, you know, they find strength in their hair. And, you know, my dad would always talk about, well, don't cut your hair. And, you know, I didn't understand at the time the significance of that. And so he'd always be like, why'd you cut it? You know, and then,
But there are times, like at
Yes.
mourning
Mhm.
and things like that,
It's a
that when
form
you
of
will
expression.
cut your hair.
Yes, which I did do that one time, because, you know, before I turned the age of 18, I really didn't know a whole lot about the significance of it until I started studying.
Mhm.
And I was interested probably my senior year more, like, I really want to get in touch with this, because in the pandemic, I started beading. My Aunt Kelly, who's my grandpa's sister, so she's also full-blooded. She taught me about beadwork and, like, you know, cultural traditions and the significance of it. I had a cousin that was always like super involved in the culture, and she was even a princess at one time. And so, you know, I always wanted to learn, but it was just kind of like, what is this gonna open up? And, you know, I've also just never sat down and paid attention.
Right.
And then finally, when I was, you know, I visited her, I was, you know, no one was really out and about. So I was like, okay, well, maybe if I go and learn this, it'll give me something to do.
Mhm.
It turned into one of my greatest passions, one of my favorite things. It's an addiction. The amount of beads I have in my room and on the floor is a mess, but so she's taught me everything I know about beading, and my mom was happy that she was there, because, you know, my mom, like I said, couldn't just teach me all these things. And so
Right.
she adores my Aunt Kelly because, you know, she's giving me some of my culture back, you know, something I didn't have. And I find that to be so, like, happy to me.
Right. I mean, a great comfort. And in speaking to other people who are Native American from several different tribal groups, the common thread is losing your generation.
Yes.
There's a lack of interest, there's a lack of passion,
Yes.
you know, preserving the language, preserving the ways, so much of it. There's just, they have told me, you know, that it's very hard to find ways to reach your generation.
Yes.
And I know that they are spending a lot of time and effort trying to figure out ways to do things. And I mean, there are going to be other young people like you, and I can see you maybe inspiring or at least helping other people find an interest. I mean, yours begins with beadwork.
Yes.
And where does it go from there? You know, you find that thing that will draw them in. And I really hope that it saddens me so much to think about how much language and culture has been lost over the years. I mean, I'm talking, you know, going back a few hundred years, how much has been lost, how many Native American languages are completely gone. They will never be heard again. No one will ever speak those words again. They were never written down.
Yeah.
There was never a recording of those words. And that, just as a historian, about a person who loves history, that really makes me sad.
It breaks my heart too, because, you know, I will never speak it the way my grandpa does. He has that tonality to him, that nasally sound. I love hearing him speak. And, like, I'm sure there's things that he can't express like he could in his native language. Like, you know, like English to him, I'm sure he would much rather speak what he grew up speaking,
Right.
You know, at home and everything. And I really am trying. It's just, it's hard, you know, like, life is so busy now, and, you know, I'm in school and I have all these things going on, but I did open up a Rosetta Stone account And I just, I've been learning a little bit. So I know a few words and
Right.
a few phrases, but my goal is, before it's too late to one day have a very short conversation with him in our native language, even if I'm being corrected or,
Right,
but
exactly.
I would love that. And, one day, I would like to just sit down and ask him a few questions and record it and be like, tell me this, tell me that, and
Mhm.
have him repeat it back in English, because I heard that done on a podcast and other people have told me that would be a good idea.
Mhm. Oh, I think that's a super great idea.
Mhm.
Just any way to have that for posterity,
Yes.
for you to hear, like you say, just there is like a certain cadence and like the tones, the nasal, the different places in the mouth where the
where they
sound
speak.
comes from.
Yes.
I mean, you have, when you listen to someone say those words, it's really, and I just read a book about the code talkers
Mhm.
who were Choctaw,
Yes.
and I had never thought about this, but there was like a bomb.
Mhm.
Well, there's no word
For
in Choctaw for bomb. I was talking to my husband about, I said, they didn't have words for
Yeah.
bombs or for tank
Mhm.
or for airplane or for truck or anything like that. The modern technology, there's no word in the language for that. And how interesting and cool is that?
Right.
To think about an ancient language like that and the limitations that it has when you look at the modern world.
Mhm.
Anyway, I just think that is so interesting.
I think it is a really neat language too. And then it's not like Spanish where you can just replace the words,
Mhm.
for whatever you're trying to say. It's like you have to really figure out, and they speak in a rhythm almost.
Yes.
Like the words have accents and things on it, and it's just kind of that like rhythmic flow to it. And I just think it's so
Poetry.
yeah, it's
all-
pretty.
It's beautiful to listen to. So we have these beautiful crowns. I mean, these are basically works of art here.
Yes.
And these belong to Shaeleigh because she is Miss American Indian OSU, Oklahoma State University, for 2023. And tell us, how did you become interested in this competition? Is that the right, or pageant?
Yeah,
This
it's
pageant.
a scholarship pageant. So,
Okay.
the winning prize is you become Miss American Indian OSU, and then you also get $1,000 scholarship. But, that sounds nice, but it has a lot of weight to it, more than I anticipated, because not only are you that, but you're also kind of the face of your organization.
Mhm.
And, it's such an honor, to be that. And I'm excited to be that, I really didn't think I was going to get this title. And there was just a lot of stress behind it, but I was like, yeah, that sounds fun. It's a scholarship. I mean, I should try, might as well try,
Right.
it's a scholarship and it sounds fun. And that was kind of my motivation behind it. And I was like, I can, contact my Aunt Kelly because she makes dresses and she beads, and her stuff is beautiful. And she travels everywhere, goes to like the big towns and things. So I was like, yeah, she knows exactly what she's doing. And she makes all my cousin's dresses and all her beadwork. Like she knows what she's doing. She's like the expert here. So I was like, I'll just, contact her and be like, yeah, we'll get this figured out. And then, she was fortunate enough to let me, wear my cousin's dress, and then I got my beadwork all ready to go.
And so let me interrupt you.
Yeah, you're
So
good.
what type of dress were you wearing? Is it associated with the Chickasaw or the
I was
Choctaw
wearing
or?
Mississippi Choctaw regalia.
Okay.
So there's very mild differences in the regalia. I know Choctaw, they have usually like a little scarf and they'll put a medallion there. And they wear like these nets in their hair. They're called mosquito nets, and all your hair is pulled back and held in it. And they also, Chickasaws will have like a big ruffle on the front.
Okay.
And the Choctaws usually don't, or they'll have like a very mild one. And the Choctaw ones have like these X's built in or sewn in. So it's very mild, but there's those slight things. And then for the beadwork, Chickasaw usually will just have like a collar, and then Choctaw you layer it. So you have like a base collar, and then you have a starburst pattern collar, and it's like a much thicker thing.
And when you're saying collar, you're talking about something that's beaded,
Yes,
that's laid on top of
On
the
top.
dress.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, and so I actually got a slight bit of backlash on that too, from some Facebook comment, which I try not to let it like get to me, but it's like, it's sad that people are just like saying all these things. So they're like, well, why is she in Choctaw regalia? Not Chickasaw. And I'm like, I'm surprised some people even picked up on that, and they're like, well, I doubt Governor Anatovy's team even knew that. And it's like, did you not read?
Right.
And it's like, I'm trying to represent both heritages, and that's important to me. Yes, I am a Chickasaw citizen, but I'm also affiliated with the City Choctaws.
Right.
Like my city ID will say, it says M Chalk, which I think is funny that it's all abbreviated,
Mhm, yeah.
but it's crazy that people picked up on it. And I was kind of glad, because I was like, well, at least people know their stuff here.
Right.
But it was like, why does this matter? And that's another thing that scares me being royalty is like, I am now kind of a public setting, and
You're a figure.
anything
You're a
I
public
do
figure,
can
actually.
be like hated on for
Uh-huh.
whatever reason. And I'm like, this is a lot for me. And then the pageant, like we were talking about, I started it off just as, oh, well, this is something I should try. And I have the resources, I know what I need to do. And then it was so much more than I anticipated. And then
So what sort of things did you have to do?
I had to do an introduction, which is what I just spoke to you guys here.
Okay.
And I had it memorized at the time. And I also had to bead a lot of things. My Aunt Kelly beaded the collars for me, and then I beaded the medallions, and she also gave me those earrings to wear. They were actually my cousin's, because I had some earrings. I left them in my dorm, and I was already like so stressed out that day, and I was also sick because I had the week prior gotten a upper respiratory infection. And then I was like, I was already feeling bad. I also got a sinus infection because I didn't get better. So I had to go on like 2 rounds of antibiotics before I was like all set. So I was on antibiotics from like late April until I moved back home. So it was rough.
Yeah.
But so I had that introduction, and I had to explain all of my regalia and what it meant. So like the ruffles on the dress is like the flow of grass in the plains and like the valleys. So all of that. And then like the beads, I don't really fully know, but I know like in Native American heritage, beading is medicine. It's kind of like strength, and it's whatever you put into your beadwork is meant to like resemble what you're feeling. So say I'm angry and I'm beading, I'm putting anger into my beads. I'm sad, I'm putting my sadness into those beads. So typically they tell you, bead when you're happy. If not, you're gonna put that bad energy into your stuff. And then if you were to gift it to someone else, you're passing it on. And so I tried to follow that because in college I'm stressed, and I'm trying to, I was up late at night in my dorm beading every night. And I'm like,
So was it a long time preparation for you?
Yes. I mean, I probably spent a good like whole semester just getting ready for that. Like,
Wow.
I knew about it in the late fall semester, like December, and then I was like, okay, I need to like get on it now. I just did not know where to start, and I'm so lucky I have my Aunt Kelly.
Yeah.
Because I would have been like a chicken with its head cut off, just, scrambling.
So are there particular colors that you would also wear in your regalia?
Yes, so Choctaw has yellow and purple as their main colors, and then Chickasaw has like a blue, and I think they have like this coppery, like goldish color. So anything relating to that is preferred. But I mean, if I wanted to wear like an orange dress or something for OSU, that's completely acceptable.
Right.
Because that's for my school. So things of that sort. And then colors also have a lot of meaning to them. Like green is like vegetation, growth, and I believe blue is like representative of the water, and all the elements around you. Like red and orange is usually like fire, things of that sort. I don't fully know like in depth yet, but I do know like colors in Native American societies and things, they are very, very important.
Right. So you did all this work in advance.
Mhm.
You learned your introduction.
Yes.
And then the day of the pageant, what all, besides doing those introductions and everything, were there other interviews? Were there,
Yes.
were there dancing? Any kind of a Native American dance or anything like that?
We didn't do a dance because the way we had the pageant set up was like, we did the pageant and then they had like, for their seniors involved in NASA, the Native American Student Association, they came and like kind of did their little.
Okay.
I don't really, they walked for NASA and we have a powwow coming up October 7th, where we will do our dances and traditions and everything, and we honor royalty and we have like a color guard, so we'll do our whole big thing
Oh,
in the
wow.
fall. But yes, I did have a lot of interviews that day and following, and it was stressful because, I had gone on stage, I was stressed out, I was, I was stunned I got it, because I didn't even think I won at first, because when they called my name, I was like, wait, me? And I looked at my mom and I was just kind of like, do I cry? Like, I'm sick and I'm
Yeah.
feeling terrible. And so like, I was about to just start bawling on stage because I was just like, oh, this is, and it was relieving because of all that stress and time I put into everything. And it was like, oh, I can just breathe. And then, after the fact, it was like, I had to take pictures with every single person. And, I'm in that regalia and I'm sweating, I'm hot. I'm like, I feel bad to get close to anybody. Like, I feel terrible. And after pictures were done, then this girl comes up to me and she's like, can we do a quick interview? And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? Which, I was excited, but I think a lot of it, if I wasn't sick, I would have been able to handle it a lot better. But
Yeah.
I hardly had a voice that day. And that was also terrifying because for my talent portion, I had to sing. And
So there was a talent.
yes, there's a
competition
talent
too.
portion and
Oh.
extemporaneous questioning. I forgot to mention. that.
Oh, okay. That's
But-
always tricky.
Yeah, so they did that and I was like, okay. And then I got, my grandpa contacted Chickasaw Times, and so they reached out to me, and then someone on Duncan Banner reached out to me, and then, which was like thrilling, and then Stillwater's magazine, Neil Colley, and then the OSU News. So all these things, from
All
my
of these different
hometown,
views.
OSU, it's like, wow, that's a lot, which is exciting.
Are there like requirements that you have to make, these appearances?
Yes.
Or do interviews, certain number of interviews or things like that?
I don't know about interviews. I just know like GPA, they want you to,
Okay.
do well in school, and
Mhm.
obviously they don't want you doing anything that would make NASA look terrible. Like you're not gonna go out being wild, I know that I'm supposed to represent NASA, but they're pretty lenient on it with my organization because they're kind of like, if you absolutely cannot make it, then don't go.
Mhm.
If you have an exam, don't go.
Oh, you mean like attending meetings?
Yes, events, but I
Okay.
do have to go to every single club meeting for
Okay,
NASA, so.
okay.
Unless obviously I have like an excuse, like exams or,
Mhm.
I'm sick, 'cause then,
Yeah.
So, I know for sure I have to go to like this Royals dinner. Like right when I get back to school, I move in the 16th and it's the 18th, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna hit the ground running. And
Yes,
then
you are.
I have to attend the powwow, which I'm excited about. I
Right.
love powwows. I actually just went to one Saturday, so I was really thrilled about that.
That's fun. I was wondering if, I grew up more with, I had a lot of friends who were, from more of the Plains tribes. And so I'm a little more familiar with some of their, Kiowa.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I was wondering, if the Chickasaw and Choctaw have the powwows and the gatherings like that?
Yes, I think in more recent years, like we've always had our dances, always had our powwows. I think now that like, there's not as many Native Americans, they all kind of converged into like one thing. So like powwows, like if you're a Native American and you've been to a powwow, you kind of know like what to expect. They have a lot of the same dances, they have a lot of the same things, like they'll always usually have vendors, there's always fry bread,
Mhm.
those kinds of things. And then just the environment is very similar to all the ones I've been to. I've mainly gone to Comanche ones also.
Right.
My dad actually used to dance with the Comanches.
Oh.
So even though he's
Like-
Choctaw Chickasaw, he would go dance in Comanche powwows and Comanche regalia.
What, like fancy?
Yes, he
dance?
danced. My dad
Ah.
did some fancy and he did some traditional. And,
Mhm. There's a gourd dance that they
Yes.
do.
I don't know
Is
if he
that-
did gourd, but I know he's familiar with.
I had
all
a
the
friend
different
who
ones.
was Cherokee,
Mhm.
and I went to a powwow with her, and the men did a gourd dance.
Yes.
They had like a floral shirt with like ribbon
Oh, yes.
and gourds that had like beat,
The
I don't know, something
shakers.
inside the shakers, yeah.
I know with Chickasaw that we have a stop dance. That's really the only one I know that's like traditional to my tribes, but
Mhm.
I know they have
And
big powwows.
your tribes more are traditionally not buckskin clothes, but more of the fabric, or do?
I'm not sure, because I know there's probably some buckskin. I think it really just depends on like the era they were in, because when fabrics were introduced, they went to like that French peasant dress style, and then I know like I'm sure they wore more buckskin and things, because my dad talks about like, oh yeah, we always made our stuff out of like buckskin. Like I know for moccasins we have like we use buckskin, so
Right,
I figured that mostly what they wear. I don't know how the dresses looked, but I'm sure they did wear some buckskin.
Well, and you said the French peasant, so you're part of the 5 civilized tribes.
Yes.
And they came from the southeast part of the United States, and there was a big French influence
Yes.
amongst those
Southern states.
people. And and so I can see that,
Influence.
in that influence, and I mean, if you don't stop and think about, we were talking about this earlier, the before contact with white people, and
Yes.
then after that contact, the changes
Mhm.
that began to, it's probably like dating, a way to date
Yeah,
artifacts
yeah,
based on,
when they changed over to like fabrics, and
yeah.
even with beads, like they would make beads out of mud and clay and rocks. Well, like I don't remember who, I want to say it was Spain, I could totally be wrong, but they brought over glass beads. And so beads, like, because they were these beautiful, colorful glass beads, when they brought those over, they were like, oh, we want these. And so beads were often like kind of how rich you were, or like what you
Right.
traded with, or like, give me this animal skin for all those beads right there, like, and I thought that was interesting, because, I always know natives have beads, they bead, and then, when I was studying and like learning all these things, I'm like, I didn't know that,
Right.
but it makes sense that, because all we use is glass beads.
Right now, the downside of that is, I think that the European settlers, because the Native Americans loved the beads and the importance of like there were shells and
Yes.
other things brought, other things that
Mhm.
were used in place of the
Right.
beads. For adornment, or for to make the sound, when they're with the
Yes.
dancing and all that. I think that sometimes European settlers saw that as a childlike mentality.
Oh,
You know what
yes.
I'm saying? Because, what? I can give them beads
And
and
then-
they'll give me,
yeah.
all of this, not even understanding the culture
Mhm.
and what those beads would be used for.
Right.
That there was the ignorance on the side of the European settlers, because they knew nothing about the culture.
Yeah.
And so there was I just have to wonder if that doesn't play into that mindset that an uneducated native person is not going to be able to learn or understand, or even,
Pick up on what they're actually doing.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind the fact that these governments were already established among
Yeah.
these people. Never mind all of the trade and all the things that was
Systems
already
they
going
have.
on.
Yeah.
Exactly, never mind all that. But anyway,
Well, I've never thought of that, and I think that's really interesting. Like, now I'm like, okay, I need to like research if that's why they did that, because that would make a lot of sense. And I think that's really neat. I mean, it's sad to think that, oh, they thought that they were, not intelligent, that they were, I guess, stupid. But I think that was more of a win in our part too, because, like, look at this beautiful art we had.
That's exactly right, because that is one thing, every Native American artist I've ever talked to, I've ever met, the color, the design, and the fact that they paint everything was a piece of art. The Plains tribes, their teepees were decorated. They were art. They painted on their horses, their animals, the blankets, everything is so beautiful, so beautifully adorned, and so much time and effort put into it that it's a piece of art.
Yes.
And I mean, I really just respect that so much. And just one of my favorite things that I've learned over these past few years of meeting people who are artists is just that mindset that and it's not even a mindset. It's not even that they're, anyone's thinking, I'm going to make this something beautiful. It's going to be art. That's just our lifestyle. This is just how we live,
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of, you are a beadwork artist.
Yes, I guess so. And it's weird to hear that because I'm like, I never thought of that. It's just something I do. And so to like see you guys call me a beadwork artist, it's like, oh, that's exciting.
But I mean, I feel like you are, and you'd make beautiful things. And so this Saturday, just in case you've missed this on any of our social media or the news or anything else, this coming Saturday, July the 22nd, is National Day of the Cowboy, and we are hosting a celebration here at the Heritage Center, our 13th celebration. And Shaeleigh is going to have, she's going to give any of you who choose to come by an opportunity to purchase some of her pieces. And she does some really unique beadwork. I mean, these ideas are so cool to me. Emery, can you give us a little zoom here?
Can I give a story on that hat?
I would love a story on the hat. Yes.
So the hat I made for my mother, a cactus, which I don't think it's my tribe specifically, but a cactus represents a mother in Native American culture. I believe it's Navajo or Pueblo.
Probably
sure.
more of a desert.
Yes, but the spikes and
Oh,
the
that's
outside, the toughness of that cactus is meant to represent like the mother's protection. And then, they have water and nutrients inside, and that, they nurture when you eat cactus fruit, it takes care of you. Well, that's kind of representative of a mother. And so I was like, this hat is meant for her. This is absolutely meant for her.
And that is, so I have to ask, do you wear a thimble, or is it hard to push the needle through
It can be
this bill of this
sometimes.
cap?
I just go through the top of the fabric.
fabric.
Sometimes I'll use a small piece of scrap leather to really push the
Oh,
needle through.
to use against it. But she didn't just stop with the super cute hat. She made these adorable little earrings. See, there you go, with the matching cactus inside, and then the color scheme from the cap and what she did on the bill. Isn't that so cute? Look at that, y'all. This type of the caps will be available for sale.
I don't have any made because they do take a really long time. This in total, like on this bill here, that's 2 hours of work. So 2, 4, 6, about 6 to 8 hours on this hat. So I kind of just do them as I feel, or if someone wants me to do a custom hat, I will do a custom hat. I've done several. So like I can go out and get a hat if someone's interested, and they tell me what kind of design they're looking for. I'll either find something online to kind of reference and send it to them, make sure, or I can kind of just draw something out really quick. And
okay, so if that's
those kinds of
something,
things.
if that's something that you would be interested in, kind of be thinking about that, because you guys will have a chance to talk to her on Saturday. So that's so cute. Sorry, this will not be available. That belongs to her mama. And then she's also made these beautiful earrings. Will there be others like this?
Yes, so those are kind of the big ones. They did take quite a bit of time, probably a total of like 6 hours for both earrings together.
For the set.
But
6 hours
those
for the
will
set.
be available for anyone that wants to get them if
The
they're interested.
color, the design, these are very, very pretty.
And I will have a lot of miniature ones like that. So they won't be that big, but there will be like some in the same,
The same
yes,
shape,
yes,
but smaller.
and different color schemes. So
Okay,
we'll have those. I'll have a lot of hoops similar to this also.
okay.
So if they are wanting earrings like these with, just the little points
And
on the outside, we can.
Even
decide.
though these are covered with beads, these are lightweight.
Yes.
These are not heavy earrings at all. And then you also do a really cool thing with shoes.
Yes, so I'm wearing them now and I feel bad for anyone that might see on the inside because I wear these pretty much every day to work here because they match my shirt. But these Hey Dudes were gifted to me for Christmas. So I saw this on the back of them. I did not do this, but this was already there. And I was like, okay, so that kind of gives me a color scheme. And so then I did the top all around to match it. So I tried to pick the colors that were pretty close. And so I have this like shiny brown and this turquoise blue, this cream and orange. And so that all kind of
Beautiful. Those are so pretty. Now, are those something that you do custom also?
Yes, I do. I've done several also. I've made some for my boyfriend, his mom. I know I'm supposed to do some for my dad soon. So just it will take me a while because shoes are probably just as tedious as a hat will be. So quite a few hours on each shoe.
Right.
And it also depends on the size of the shoe because I wear size 9, so it didn't take me too long. But if you're like a men's 13, it's probably going to take me
Right,
a little bit longer. Or if you're like a size 6 in women's, it won't take me nearly as long as it did the size 9.
Right,
So
right.
that, and if you have a pair of shoes that are preferably not worn.
Yeah, something that's gonna stand up
Yes.
to the beating and all
Yeah.
that. So besides earrings, are there other items that you'll have?
Yes, so I'll have different styles of earrings. So you've seen the hoops and the little triangles. I'll also have some fringe earrings. So they'll dangle and they'll feel pretty. I have some circular hoops instead of this like teardrop shape that you just saw. I'll also have a different kind of hoop. So they kind of like the ones you're wearing.
Oh, that go through and fasten.
Yes, but
like
they'll
this.
have beads and I have different colors. I've put some that are kind of like Dunkin' colors, and then I have some OSU colors, of course, and I have a few things. I'll have a couple bracelets that I made.
And you're gonna be doing some beading with children?
Yes, we'll do little necklaces, so very easy, which I'll also have some of those already made for sale. I'm trying not to break stuff today. But yeah, I'll have that and some bracelets. So I'll have a little bit of everything, mainly earrings, and then if people are interested in preferably getting custom stuff, I am totally down to do it. You just might have to forgive me because I'll be moving in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But we'll figure something out.
Yeah, okay, that sounds so great. And I love the fact that this has a part of you, a part of your culture. You are perpetuating a part of your culture by making this jewelry and creating these little pieces of art for people to wear. And I love how that comes together, how that's combined for you.
I love it too, because like when I make something, my dad's always told me, when you make something, don't make it for yourself usually. Like the shoes were the exception because they were gifted to me.
Yeah.
And they were from my boyfriend Philip. So it's like, okay, he picked that specifically, for me to make. So but he always told me whatever you put into it is for the person you're giving it to. So I think that is sweet because, again, like the thing with my mom's hat, I made that for her to, it was kind of like my goodbye gift in college, even though I was coming back, but it's something that she'll have from me that I made specifically to her. No one else is going to have this. And that's how I plan to. I will never make another hat like that. Yeah. And then same thing with, I also make dream catchers, which I did not bring any today, but when you make a dream catcher, you put stones and things into it. So like turquoise, like resembles good luck. Quartz is like, good thoughts to center your mind. You'll put coral in so people have good blood circulation, like all these little things. And when I make a dream catcher, it's again, you put stuff into it. My grandpa did that for my dad when he made him a dream catcher. He put his hair in it, which people will probably think, what the heck? Like, why is his hair in there? But he literally cut a piece of his hair and put it into my dad's dream catcher, and you kind of see it hanging down. Like he tied it up so you can see it, and then that represents him being with my dad. Like that, he gave my dad a part of himself. And so, like you were saying, when we put all these little pieces together, they are little works of art, because I don't know how someone can sit there and make something and be like, I don't have the intention of this being meant to do something, if that makes any sense.
Right.
So, and then I also think it's a very spiritual experience, because when you're beading, some of it's as a form of prayer. To me, this is like, I am peaceful, I am feeling good, like this is my escape from reality. So it makes me feel just pretty good overall. I usually do it before bed.
So do you make these with like a little loom?
I just use a needle and thread.
Really? You don't have anything to hold the shape or anything. You're just free will.
Yeah.
The girl has got some talent now. I'm not kidding. These I can kind of see because they have a wire shape, but this is just, wow.
Yeah.
Shaeleigh, that's cool.
Thank you.
I love that. I love that. So yeah, we'll be here from 10 to 5 on Saturday, free admission. And Shaeleigh will be here. Will you have your regalia?
I will not be wearing my full regalia because it will be pretty hot outside and it will be long sleeve, but I will have my sash and crown, and I'll be wearing a Chisholm Trail Heritage shirt.
There you go. She's going to be one of us. Now is this the crown you'll have?
Yes.
This thing's kind of heavy, so if she takes it off partway through the day, please understand why. But come and look at the beauty of the beadwork in this.
Yes.
This is it's lovely. It really is. And it's something that she passes on the queen every year, or
some say
Miss,
princess or miss, either one.
I was just thinking when I said that title that it didn't say queen or princess or anything, did it?
Well, like a lot of tribal royalty, they call them princess.
Right,
so
right.
it's all good.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Anyway, so come by, meet Shaeleigh. She is just awesome to talk to. She's and she's got a very bright future. And I thank you very much for agreeing to be on Trail Talk today, Shaeleigh. And I look forward to hearing about all the things you learn as you keep studying at school. I think we're going to have like super interesting conversations if I can ever get her to come back.
I'll visit.
Yay. So guys, be sure and join us Saturday. And there will not be a Trail Talk next week, but we will kick it back off the following week, and we're going back to 2 episodes a week. So you're going to want to watch for the Facebook PR about all of that. And I think you know what it's time to say.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see you guys next time. Happy trails.